No one talks about the survival of the black race. In the 1990s, the black male is an endangered species. 1 out of every 3 black men are either in jail, on drugs, or gay.
Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Where did that come from, guys? And y'all get mad for me saying this. Black men have a huge part in these false negative ass stereotypes that we're still dealing with till this day.
She feels that Vanessa's trying to better herself by being with me.
She has her own opinions about whatever, she thinks. I mean, I know who I am. And from the moment I walked in the door, she had a total attitude against me.
I can't be in a space comfortable where there's some tension. I need to address it immediately. If I found out that there was a problem, somebody had a problem with me in a room, I'm going straight to that person. I'm going to ask you, hey, man, do we have a problem? Young men, are specifically talking to y'all. Sometimes you got to use these. All right? You got to get down. It is what it is.
Interracial dating can tear families apart. Meet Ann and Mark. Ann's father loved...
Brother, cut that shit off. Cut it off, bro. You got to get rid of that foolery on top of your head, man. I'm glad, like I said in the other show, I'm glad black men leaned into the body. You know what I'm saying? Cut it off.
Mark until Mark started to date his daughter. Ann's father now refuses to speak to her and did not attend his...
Hey, he got a little kente cloth print.
his only daughter's wedding. Needless to say, he would not appear on this program with her. Also joining us are John and Vanessa. John's mother objects to their relationship. After speaking to our producer for over an hour on the phone, she ultimately declined our invitation to defend her views. Let's welcome them both. John, did it surprise you that your mom decided not to come today?
Absolutely.
What is her problem with your relationship?
Well, she thinks Vanessa's black, so she...
Did he say she thinks Vanessa's whack?
Well, she thinks Vanessa's black.
Is Vanessa black? She looked black.
So she feels that Vanessa's trying to better herself by being with me.
Is that true, Vanessa?
She has her own opinions about whatever, she thinks. I mean, I know who I am.
But has she met you?
Oh, yeah, she's met me. We went there earlier this year in January for the first time I met her. And, previously I had dated him off and on since, August. And from the moment I walked in the door, she, had a total attitude against me.
But how... Man... I can't be in a space comfortable where there's some tension. I need to address it immediately. If I found out that there was a problem, somebody had a problem with me in a room, I'm going straight to that person. I'm gonna ask you, hey man, do we have a problem? Because I'm not gonna sit there and allow somebody's family to side eye me or talk mess about me. Nah, man, we got to get this shit dealt with right now. Either, we both going to jail, or we gonna just, catch this fade and we gonna just get up out of each other's way. Because I'm not gonna step into somebody's space and you got a problem with me and you acting like it ain't a problem. No, let's see if it's a problem and where we want to take it. I can't deal with that. So I don't understand how these women are able to move in spaces, understanding that these people are racist, but they're like, you know what? I'm gonna still stick beside them. That's wild to me. And if that was a black man with the same thing, I wouldn't know how to I don't know how to understand it. We got to settle this right now. Ain't none of that. Because I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm not going to feel comfortable being around your ass knowing that you have a secret problem with me. Let's get to it. Okay? Yeah, I'm not going to feel comfortable, man.
And, the fact is, even if I was all black, who cares? My mother is white. She's English.
Okay.
My father is Colombian. He just happens to be, black skin, but he's not your, Afro-American, whatever. But
Afro-American, that's still considered black. So I don't know, man. Dante Bryan, $2 bomb said, Media Man, oh no, we got to get out. Yeah, man. That's just a man thing. You know what? May have something to do with being in the military, growing up in California. where you may get pressed for wearing the wrong hat or the wrong shoes. So I'm very, confrontational when it comes to people saying that they have a problem. And I know in social media, everybody likes to make it seem like they tough. It's not about being tough. I just want to feel comfortable. Okay. But it does help, if you know how to, protect yourself. But I don't care who it is. If I walk into a room and somebody tells me, whispers in my ear, hey man, this dude say he got a problem with you. Oh, which one? And I'm gonna just walk my happy ass over there. I'm asking, hey man, we got a problem? What problem we got? And it's that direct. Because typically when you do that, I don't think people are prepared for that, because a lot of people ain't willing to do that. But nah, I've always been raised to confront this shit head on. We got to get down. It is what it is. Are we gonna settle this shit? Whatever problem that you think you had, hey, it is what it is. Bro, if you're gonna be a confrontational type of guy, you gotta be prepared that you may get your ass whooped. Let me just say that right now. Okay? But that's not the point. You're gonna take a loss. But your pride, you ain't gonna never get that shit back. So don't ever let a man walk into a room and you think he have a problem with you. Be prepared to whoop his ass or get your ass whooped. I don't give a I was finna cuss because this is about to piss me off because I see too many guys running away from confrontation. That's the business of fighting. Get used to it. If you're in the military and you take combatives, I told you I done got folded up many times when I was on my way to becoming a master combatives trader, being trained by the Army. Got folded up multiple times by 150-pound dudes. Okay? Because you take them for granted, thinking that they don't know shit. Next thing you know, you waking up, a couple seconds later. Like, what happened? So this is to all the young men in the chat. Be prepared to get your ass whooped or whoop some ass. But one thing you will not do is shy away from confrontation when a man or anybody has a problem with you. Go to that person directly. Your pride, man. You got to have some pride, some dignity, because that shit gonna come in handy when you marry. Don't ever let a man or woman talk shit about your wife. Protect. And if that involves getting your ass whooped, so be it. Get back in the gym and learn how to throw a proper right. You know what I'm saying? A jab or some shit. Go to, take some classes, some courses or some shit. But you will protect your wife. You will protect yourself. And you will protect your namesake. Don't ever let a man talk shit about you or walk around like he got a problem. No, you don't do that shit. Okay? All right. Remember that. Young men are specifically talking to y'all. People talking about going to get the, the weapon and shit like that. Nah, bro. Sometimes you got to use these. All right? You got to get down. It is what it is. So we got to stop this shit, man. Sometimes, violence ain't the answer until it's the answer. Remember that shit. I'm not telling you to be a violent person, but sometimes people don't understand reasoning. And you got to make sure they understand reasoning physically, the hard way. It is what it is. You can't be running from everything, man. All right? You know what I'm saying? But at these meetups and stuff, you didn't rumble with somebody on a panel show, and then y'all seeing each other in public. It's like, oh, nah, that's just internet talk. Ain't no damn internet talk. I see you right now. You need to tell everybody in this crowd that you was just playing, and you gonna just back down, and I ain't gonna hear nothing about this on nobody else's show. If you're not willing to do that, then we got to get down. It is what it is. And I don't want to hear nothing calling about the cops. We got to get down. All right? That's it. Sometimes you got to handle shit like a man and take care of it.
Who cares anyway? If I was,
What is the difference? That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, there is no difference. I mean, everybody to me is the same. I'm not prejudiced against anyone. His mother is prejudiced. I mean, because when we went to visit her and she had a total attitude, and before that, previously at her own house, he had brought women there, and she had never had any kind of attitude about them sleeping in the same room or anything like that, And then as soon as I came there, it was instantly, oh, I don't want her in this house. You're not sleeping together. And
Bottom line, John, Vanessa makes you happy and you love her.
Absolutely.
But that's not enough. And that's what I'm talking about, man. How can she feel comfortable in that environment? Nah, man, we got to handle this shit right now. I can't be with this. You can't be with that guy. It is no way I would sign off on my daughter dating interracially or marrying a man, a white man, and she can't feel comfortable at his house? You really think I'm gonna allow that shit? Where your dad at? Your dad would have cut that shit off immediately. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna talk about it. And if I don't feel comfortable, my daughter ain't gonna feel comfortable. Now we got a problem. Okay? It is what it is. But I just don't see how she can navigate, or this is old, but any woman or any man, you can't navigate, you can't be comfortable in that space. I need to be comfortable, man. It is, yeah. That's wild work to me. All right, fair use.
Absolutely. She
Vanessa,
makes me very happy.
And you feel the same way about him?
Yes, of course.
So, does it matter really what your mother thinks?
Oh, not to me,
No.
it doesn't.
You're gonna.
See? It's like, I don't care. Like, nah. Okay. Now watch this. Listen.
The main problem I have is everyone here is looking at it like it's a question of love and it's a question of what makes people different. Actually, it takes a lot more than just pigmentation, which separates the races. In fact, there have been major studies on it. No one talks about the survival of the black race. In the 1990s, the black male is an endangered species. 1 out of every 3 black men are either in jail, on drugs, or gay.
Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Where did that come from, guys? And y'all get mad for saying this, and for me saying this. Black men have a huge part in these false, negative ass stereotypes that we're still dealing with till this day. He just said the big 3. That's crazy, right?
In the 1990s, the black male is an endangered species. 1 out of every 3 black men are either in jail, on drugs, or gay. Now, sisters are going to,
Look, they're shaking their head like, yes, let's put a pin in this right now. Because I don't want anybody in the chat leaving here thinking that dumbass shit is true. It has never been true. These so-called pseudo-intellectuals, the statistics, you didn't look at no statistics, brother. I do this for a living. And hell yeah, I'm pissed off at a 1994 clip. But that shit pissed me off. Because that gives black women free reign to move these things forward when they hear a black man perpetuate this foolishness. Let's start here. The claim. 1 in 3 black men are in jail, on drugs, or gay. This was a popular talking point in the 1990s, especially on talk shows like Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael, and others. Okay? But it was not based on any scientific data set. It is actually a combination of 3 different myths that got mixed together. All right, so A, a misinterpretation of incarceration statistics, the crack era drug panic, and then early moral panic about LGBTQ visibility. Let's go here. The only statistic that got close to 1 in 3 came from a projection, not a reality. 1995 Bureau of Justice Statistics projection. 1 in 3 black boys born in the early 1990s could expect to be incarcerated at some point in their lifetimes if the rates did not change. That was not saying 1 in 3 black men at that moment were in prison. It was a speculative projection, and importantly, the prediction never came true. Now, how many times have you heard black people mention that 1 in 3 black men have a felony? 1 in 3 black men are in jail. This is where this dumbass shit comes from. Okay? Because nobody was smart enough to do their due diligence and do the research to see that none of this shit has ever been true. Are y'all starting to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing? Why I'm dispelling all these false ass narratives that have been circulated in the sewers of the black community? Y'all get it? This is crazy. All right, actual incarceration rates in the mid 1990s. Around 6 to 7% of black men aged 20 to 25, 25 to 29 were in state or federal prison. Adding jails brings us closer to 9 to 10%, depending on the year, 25 to 29. That is nowhere near 1/3. And again, that's from 25 to 29. And I just covered the crack epidemic, the crack era, where we had our largest incarceration rates. Okay, so even if you include the older black men during that time, the younger black men who weren't in prison, that 9 to 10% decreases to about 3 to 5%. Okay, when you add those groups that don't go to jail as much. All right, so for that study, it was 25 to 29 years old. All right, let's continue. Let me bring this up. So, on drugs, highly misleading. In the 1990s, the war on drugs created the perception that black men were uniquely on drugs. But every major survey, including the National Survey on Drug Use and Drug Use and Health, found that black and white Americans use drugs at similar rates. Jesus. Some years even showed slightly higher drug use among whites. So this part of the claim is also false. Dummy. Gay. Totally invented statistic. There has never been a data set showing 1 in 3 black men are gay, 1 in 3 black men gay plus incarcerated plus on drugs. And then from the UCLA Williams Institute estimates, 3 to 5% black men identify as gay or bisexual. Nowhere near 33%. And that's even a projection because of the fact that we extrapolate that out for men. So real quick on how the health system works. Men who have sex with men, MSM, that is the umbrella for men, black men who are men in general, whoever who identify as gay, bisexual, or whatever else, and also the quote unquote down low black men. All of that is encompassed under the MSM population. So when we do tests and people come back positive for certain diseases, it gets filed under MSM because some black men don't identify themselves as being gay or bisexual. However, they had sex with a man. So that goes under the MSM category. Okay? That's why we adopted that, that acronym or that phrase, because we do get all men come into the clinics and they'll say they had an encounter with a man, but they don't consider themselves gay or bisexual. So that's why we have MSM, men who have sex with men. Make sense? All right. So so in the Williams Institute, the study, the most recent one, I think it may have slightly increased, but it was 1.2 million. And that is predominantly the 1.2 million LGBTQ black population. 61% is black women, 39% is black men. There's never been a time that there's been more black men that are gay than black women. Black women actually outnumber all races of women's group in the gay department. Okay? It just is what it is. So, but black men get saddled with this, and it's always used as a, in a negative connotation or whatever. Like I said, man, it's nothing. People can be gay, whatever, do what they want. But when you use it in a negative, a negative disposition to try and shame black men, heterosexual black men, because a dude broke up with you or he spoke his mind and now he's sassy, that's where I step in. Okay? And I always wonder, when are black women going to call out gay black men instead of siding with them when they're talking mess about black men? Because if y'all don't know, black women are caught in the HIV tailspin because you have black LGBTQ gay men who lead in the category of HIV, and then you have black women smack dab in the middle, and then you have heterosexual black men all the way at the bottom, third. The reason why black women's HIV rates are so high is because y'all dealing with gay men who have sex with men unprotected. But for some odd reason, y'all got all this smoke for heterosexual men, but you have no smoke from the group that's actually giving you the most diseases. Why is that? Why haven't y'all had a discussion with the gay population in the black community, the gay black men? Why are y'all talking about us heterosexual black men when we're not the problem when it comes in that area? You need to be talking to the MSM community. Or you need to stop fucking so much. And you need to get tested with the guys that you having sex with. We've already proven that there are a significant amount of black women that don't mind having sex with gay men. And that's where the problem lies. So it's about that time that y'all have some sort of town hall meeting without heterosexual black men, and you talk to those gay men and ask them why you ain't telling us that you having sex with men, or why you ain't telling us that you're infected with HIV before we have sex. Can y'all do that? Are you scared? Damn. So it make no sense, man. Let's see here. So where did the myth come from? This 1 in 3 line was a cultural talking point, not an empirical one. Let's see here. It came from 1990 talk shows. Like I said, housing project and crack era. Every third boy is either dead or locked up. Y'all know this was a local saying, not a data set. Misreading the BJS projections. People took a future hypothetical and treated it as a current fact. Early internet chain emails and books exaggerating statistics. Jesus. They were not based on CDC, BGS, NSDUH data. So again, let's go ahead and clarify. All this stuff, not true at all. There's no version of legitimate math that reaches 33%. And that is the reason why it led me to create this, to explain to the black community. The 1 in 3 black men have a felony statistic does not mean 1 in 3 black men walking around today have a felony. That is a racist talking point. Now, the reason why I did this is because of this Ricky Lake show. After I posted it, there was a lot of people saying that Just Pearly Things were on a bunch of shows saying that 1 in 3 black men have a felony. And she was on these black shows and she said that, and nobody checked her ass, because nobody's actually done the research to prove her wrong. So when you get these white folks on these platforms like Steven Crowder, like Just Pearly, who don't do the research themselves and also can't even tell you the statistics for their own race of men, then that's how you know somebody is racist and you should not be rocking with them. I don't know why I got to keep telling the black community this. Are y'all that hard up on getting clicks, likes, and views? Where you gonna sit there and have an openly racist woman on there to spew this dumb shit? And you not gonna do the research for yourself and then not ask her, can you tell me the white men's statistics on grape, on child, essay, on how many times they swing on their wives, on how many white men that, pay for prostitutes and shit like that, drug use? Why you can't tell me none of your people's statistics, but you citing this black stuff? That's our fault. So I don't even blame her ass. It's our fault for bringing that woman on there and not checking her. Y'all should be doing this damn research. I can't be everywhere. Like I said, I created this for this episode. Not because of her. I didn't even know she said it. Until I started getting 3-4 emails, DMs about this shit. Oh man, is this true, media man? Why are you asking me? The time that it took for you to DM me and cut and paste what Pearly Things had said, you could have did the same thing that I did. Everybody's supposedly an expert because of ChatGPT now, right? ChatGPT the shit and let me know what it says. Then you bring me some information and we can have a discussion, okay? Because I can't be everywhere. I don't mind doing this stuff to educate, but when you hear it, you need to say something, okay? So yeah, man, you gotta watch these white folks, man, trying to go viral and shit. Oh, I went on the black space and I told them to their face and they didn't even check me about it. I didn't even check the statistics. I just heard it. We got to do better, man. Now, so like I said, the 1 in 3 narrative came from older research about the lifetime risk of imprisonment for black men born in the early 1980s. It does not mean that 1 in 3 black men alive today are felons. I need to make that clear. The newest Sentencing Project report, like I reported, shows black men born in 2001 now have a 1 in 5 lifetime risk and not a 1 in 3. And that was one of the sticking points where I was telling you guys that you need to be proud of these millennials and the Gen Zers, because they are primarily responsible for decreasing these rates. Okay? So again, the 1 in 3 black men are felons line is outdated, inaccurate, and is often used as a racist talking point to exaggerate criminality in the black community. That's how they get us. Okay? It's right there, man. My goodness. And just to see a black man from the 1990s perpetuating this narrative, you can see why black women think that we're less than. And I've said this before, I don't blame black women for thinking that. How many times have we seen on these shows black men repeating these false narratives, black women repeating these false narratives? And then the modern black women hear it and they're like, oh, well, these men ain't shit. Now I ain't got no reason but to try and date outside my race because all these black men is broke, they in jail or they gay. And that's leading black women down a dark path because there has been a slight increase on black women getting with white men, and they end up deleted because they think that black men are less than, probably, which is why they have these tweets and shit about black men being trash, and then they go to a white man, he ain't ready to handle that black woman pressure, and they end up getting deleted. It's not right at all. It's sad, but I feel that if they were told the truth and the narrative about black men was more positive and more truthful, then they wouldn't think like that. But since it's not, they're going to these other races of men because they think that we're less than, because we have people in the black community and society telling them that we ain't shit. And that's why we need to be more vocal as black men to, hey man, this is wrong. This is false. This is not true. Okay? Some of these women, let them go. It ain't no saving them. I tried. I was trying to be more vocal in the comment section. They ain't listening. It's just a bunch of shaming language after I tell them the truth. But some of these young women, you know, hey man, we got to start being more vocal. Okay? If you care. If you don't, man, I don't blame you. So, this shit it's all bad. I missed some super chats. Sorry guys. I know I went on a tangent there.